Hi, Maria. Thanks for coming today.
Hey, Alyson, thank you so much for having me.
As always, I'm going to dive right in so people can start to get to know you right away. Can you talk a little bit about your journey in tech and how it led you to become involved in AI at Dell?
Yeah, sure thing. I really went deep into this, and my first job actually after undergrad was a marketing assistant for an internet service provider. So this tech thing really goes way back than I thought it would be. But I've been at Dell for 10 years. And all of my background, like basically my past roles, were all in marketing. I got involved with AI, I would say a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, when I first started messaging for Dell Optimizer. So if you don't remember, it's still available right now. Dell Optimizer is our AI-based optimization software that makes our PCs the most intelligent in the world. So it happened when one DTW, we were, working on our sessions, and I was like I don't want this to just be a speeds and feeds. What if we extend the session to talk more about more than software, but extend what's our AI portfolio and CSG looking like? And let's bring in the experts to talk more about AI in general and what we're doing at Dell. So it sort of started like that. And as I learned more, I started talking to CTO folks and PG. That really just became an interest. And I kind of like started to expand my role. I reached out to my ISG counterparts, my services counterparts, like, hey guys, we should really do something that's Pandel, like have a solid positioning in market and elevate the story a bit. And you know the this was before the rise of Gen AI, and a few months later, here you are. Like it literally happened. OpenAI launched ChatGPT in market. Our SVP Sam Grocott formed a Tiger team, and I got roped in to represent CSG for global AI messaging.
So you get to work with cutting edge AI technologies. And what are your favorite parts of this role?
I think my favorite part so far is getting to see what's about to happen. So I remember 3 years ago when we were still talking about digital avatars. And I think it was one of the concept ideas that we showed at CES. And then, here we are, 2023, 2024. And, you open Microsoft Teams and you can actually build an avatar and make it look like you and make it talk like you and all of that. So things like that is what's spurring me to learn more about it, to happily market it. This is the most exciting part of my job. And also getting to see how tools evolve. I remember when Dell Chat first thing came into the picture, I'm like, yes, it's okay, but it's not as intelligent as ChatGPT. And then, when it evolved to what it is now, I'm like, I'm there daily. Like, I can't imagine working without, a GPT or like three GPTs on the side. So that's my favorite part is just seeing all of the, software and hardware tools evolve to what it is now.
Yeah, I would agree with you, especially on the first part that you were saying about getting to see things before they happen. And, I'm more on the data center side, but I see all the client products and they're awesome. So then that makes me really want to ask you what's next? How do you see AI technology evolving in the next few years?
I think a lot of it is happening now, but I see, in workspaces, I see everyone having AI in their devices. If you kind of take a look at all of the applications in your PC now, and think of all of those applications having some sort of AI embedded into it. That's the future. Future workloads are AI workloads. There's going to come a time, it's already starting now actually, when you can build your AI assistant to your preferences, make it learn how you talk, how you want certain things done. When with a couple of my GPTs, I have an AI assistant made for writing emails, like make it polished, make it peppy, make it personable. I have an AI assistant to write social, make it like, make sure to use emojis, make sure to do this, make it more impactful. So stuff like that, like you can really create your own world with it to make your job easier so you can focus on more meaningful things. And you can use it for fun too. Like I use like all the open GPTs like OpenAI or even Claude or Poe. It's like, so I'm thinking of going to Japan next summer. Can you write me like a 2-week itinerary? And how does that look with a 3-person family, etc. So things like that, you can really live it now and not wait for the technology to evolve, because it will keep evolving.
Totally agree. And I use it for a lot of the things that you were talking about, the trips, and the more specific you get about
Yes.
what your family looks like, the types of things they liked in previous trips, I find the more information you give it, the even more helpful it becomes.
Exactly. I used it last summer when I was packing for my family. After the DTW conference, I had immediately booked our family trip to Europe. So it's like, what should I pack? What's the weather going to be like in these countries, etc. So that was super helpful then.
Oh, yes. Pro tip for everyone there, weather. If you're going to multiple countries on multiple days, it'll feed you the weather forecast. I couldn't find any website that would do it. I had to ask AI, which was awesome. Okay,
Yes.
so AI is definitely the future and the present, as we're already talking about. And I get lots of questions about how can people start working in this AI space? How can they pivot their careers towards this field to make an impact on those things that we were just talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year when I got really enthusiastic about this, so I actually, even before there was a big focus on I signed up for a class certification at MIT and like no code AI. I'm like, great, that sounds fantastic. But it really does. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh, just take a couple of classes and do this and do that. if you are going to if you are going to get into the business, I think you really have to think about what kind of role do you want to play in this? Do you want to be an AI marketer? Or actually, to simplify further, do you want to be an AI builder? Or are you just going to be an AI end user and utilize the things that all of these wonderful AI developers have built for us to make your life, more organized, more to get things done faster, easier, etc. As I dove into the AI builder world, I sat there and like, oh, like this is not for me. Like I don't like, yes, I will take the time to learn code and just know enough to be dangerous, but I don't see myself really deep diving into, creating APIs from scratch and all of that. Maybe I'll do the fun stuff. I'm like, that user interface is easier versus that, but I don't know. Like the technical stuff is not for me, especially if I know that other people have been doing this for years and can do a much better job. I can see myself as someone who can provide input in terms of user capabilities and experience, but at the end of the day, I find myself to be more of that AI end user versus an AI builder. So, ask that question, like, do you want to be someone who is an expert in utilizing AIs? Because there's so much out there. You can take a few classes on prompt engineering, you can take a few classes on how to build your own AI assistant. But all the material is there and most of them are free. But it's really focusing on, what do you want to do with AI? How do you want it to work for you? What are the things that you want automated? And go from there. And then from there, you can find the materials to support your goal.
Okay, so where would people go? Do you have any resources or strategies where people can go learn these things? What do they do?
Yeah, for sure. Of course, my number one, if you're a Dell employee, we have a plethora of resources under our education. Our educating resources provides a lot of learning materials. There's actually a data science and AI learning path within our, it's not sales edu, it's escaping me right
Learning
now, but
studio, maybe?
yes, exactly. On Learning Studio, there's a data science and AI pathway that you can really go through. There, if you're a novice and really, want to start in what is AI versus generative AI versus machine learning versus deep learning, there is, 5-minute videos there. But if there's also, if you want to, again, if you're an AI, if you want to be an AI developer, there's also 40 hour or 40 to 1 hour deep dives that you can really immerse yourself with. Another thing is there's LinkedIn certifications. Microsoft has provided lots of free certifications that you can take, and it goes from again being first and being a novice and learning the basics to really being that expert.
I love that. So people have a lot to learn in this space. Do you have any tips or any like devices or features that you're seeing or maybe you're using yourself to make AI adoption simpler for you in your role? Like, how did you learn what prompts to use?
I come from an advertising background before Dell. And being a marketer, I feel like it's sort of like briefing an agency. Everyone has different tips and tricks. If you go to LinkedIn, there's hundreds and hundreds of cheat sheets on prompt engineering that you can use on a daily basis, depending on what your role is, and how to make. There's one specific for coders. There's one specific for content creation. There's really a lot of things to play with. One newsletter that I will plug, if you're a marketer, Sharon Marr from our organization provides a weekly newsletter called the Generative AI Marketer, and she provides little tips and tricks that you really can follow. And it's not just work stuff. It's how to train your digital assistant, or she provides experiences on, I just did this and created this. So that's one resource that I really enjoy consuming every week is her newsletter. But there's hundreds out there. I think with the AI boom, I subscribe to about like 6 to 7 newsletters. And you can also pick, like, I have one from NVIDIA, from Microsoft, etc., where I get pings with whether there's a new training or certification that you can take. And then you can go from there, pick what works for you, and pick what's going to provide you the most value.
There is an overwhelming amount of material out there. So I heard you give a couple of tips earlier about when you're looking for your cheat sheet, look for ones based on your type of role. And then I also like what you said about newsletters, because then it's just bite size once a week, because I think it is overwhelming to get started in this space.
Absolutely. And again, it doesn't need to be all about work. It can be about, I recently my brother just got married a year ago, and we were there, and my dad was typing up his speech. And I'm like, why don't you use ChatGPT? And, he put in a few words, kind of briefed it, and then it provided him like a full-blown speech. And I'm like, Dad, take a look at this. I was like, can you provide a Filipino speech version in Tagalog? And it absolutely did. Like, make it more casual, like include a joke, etc. So you can use it for many different things. One interesting fact that I saw is that, like, AI and Gen AI specifically is being used across all ages. It's not just Gen Z or millennials or even Gen X. Like boomers, about 70+% are actually also using this because it's not the hardest to adopt. So this is more, there's more that's to come. And it's not going to be that, hard adoption that everyone thinks it is because it seems so scary. It's really an easy learning. It's an easy way to learn and adopt because like how it's based on natural language. You can just type what you want and it provides you what you need.
Yeah, it's so conversational. And I just want to highlight there's a lot of value in that adding back, like make it more conversational, add in a joke, how interactive it is. I didn't think about that, how great it is for boomers and all generations to pick it up because it is so intuitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights on AI and PCs for Dell and all your tips. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And, if you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah, put them in the comments. We will get back to them for sure.
Absolutely.